Hello everybody and welcome back to the tournament. We're continuing the match here between p.bobbert and NoFun. This is going to be on Fibrous Krill, and this one was Bob's pick, right? I have a TXT file for this. By the way, big thanks to NoFun for putting that in there. He stuck a little text file in there to tell us, you know, which map was whose pick and all that. So that's nice to see. If you remember last game, and you should watch that before you watch this one, Bob did really well in the early game, just kind of dancing around against those sand skimmers. But then at some point, he definitely should have transitioned into a full armor build, you know, just with like AAVs and railguns. And he kind of got smacked around, but NoFun sort of threw it there, not quite managing to kill off Bob's carrier, and he was able to take the win. I feel like Bob's play was quite good. And he's going to mix it up this time, getting LAV fabrication quite early with a base burner retirement coming out from NoFun. But anyway, I feel like Bob's play was quite good, especially in the early game, but late game he probably should have transitioned into railguns just a little bit faster. Both players, though, are going to be thinking of that last game as they move into this one. Thinking, you know, what they want to change. And it's definitely a different strategy from both of them, I think that's safe to say. I'm interested to see what NoFun is going for here. It's probably going to be like a 2 PC build of some kind, because he did retire that base burner, but he made salvagers first, so it's not quite clear to me yet. Oh, and he's made another salvager here too, so that's not the idea. It might be like a... It might be a 1 PC AS play, yeah, it looks like it. In that case, he's coming out a bit about 20 seconds too late. And I think the Assault Chip tech actually had its time increased, if I'm not mistaken, although it did have its cost decreased. So it's kind of interesting to see how it plays out in the mod versus in vanilla. But yeah, he is about 10 seconds or so later than he should have been to get the Assault Chips out. And it looks like he sees he was spotted by the base burner and just immediately backed away there. That's probably wise, actually, because it's going to look to Bob like he backed away. But he wants to keep this guy out of vision in that case. Looks like he's going to be seen anyway. And Bob having gone LAVs first and getting the assault pack already, that's kind of interesting to see too. He's definitely going to have enough presence in the early game that he's going to know exactly what this thing is. He'll see it coming. The thing is, he needs to get into railgun fabrication as fast as he can, basically, once he sees like what his opponent is doing here. And if I were him, seeing the assault cruiser moving forward, that would be a tip-off to me already that I probably need to get that tech. I would even maybe cancel the assault pack to get the RUs for it, but he's got the RUs anyway, so he should definitely be quicking on that railgun fabrication as fast as he can. And then Power Reserve 1 probably comes out after. But no, he's going to start making some... Wait, how did he spend RUs? No, he spent CUs there, I see. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Bob. Bob, my boy, you definitely are going to need the railguns for this. He's going to Power Reserve 1 now, but he needs to have the railguns first. This could really be problems here, and we do have Armored Unit Defenses 1 already out on the field. But NoFun is not exactly doing it right either. I think he's going for like the salvagers on the second. He should really be going for salvagers on the main first, but he's not really at risk of losing the production cruiser here, I don't really think. But yeah, Bob with Power Reserve 1 doesn't actually use it. He needs to get the power in the range there, but he's going to kill off the assault ships fairly quickly. But yeah, this production cruiser is not in the right place. Definitely the weakness here is in the main. You can kill off those salvagers in the main, and then you can win the game from there. This is not exactly how we'd want to see this being played. So if I were NoFun here, I think it can still be done. Your opponent still hasn't responded properly, and you know that because you haven't seen the railgun module pop up right there. But you need to just make a couple of assault ships here, and then come back out and come back out with them together and try and hit at that main. That's what you want to be getting. Oh, and extraction went down for Bob too, actually, and that does make things tricky. Also, this production cruiser looking really vulnerable right here, and it wasn't making any assault ships, so it could actually go down. Oh, that'd be terrible. Come on, assault ship, get your damage out as fast as you can. Yeah, I think the production cruiser is going to go down right here. Refinery mode is on the way. Okay, that's what happened. So NoFun tried to transition off of this into an eco jumpstart, but I don't think he's going to be able to get it. This production cruiser is definitely going to go down here, and not enough damage has been done to the Bob's side at all to justify this kind of loss. I think that's already going to be game, honestly. You know, I feel like this is very similar to game 1 because definitely NoFun should have won this. The response was not correct from Bob at all, but yeah, I don't know. It's not working out for him. This is going to be Bob's game for sure. Oh, and a turret goes up. That's just evil. Yeah, he's going to lock in that last assault chip with the turret there. The LAVs can obviously can honestly kill it, but they don't even need to. The carrier can take care of this one. Assault chips, by the way, they do have a lot less HP in the mod, so if you're going to pull this kind of stuff off, you need to be very efficient with, like, get to your target first and, like, immediately and hit it as fast as you can. Because in vanilla, they can sit underneath the carrier for a lot longer. In the mod, they obviously still have that ability, but quite a lot less. I think it's like 1400 HP in vanilla, and it's like 960 or something in the mod, so they definitely have a lot less time that they can just sit there and do damage. So, while you can get that damage in, you've got to do it quickly. And NoFun going for like salvagers on the second and also kind of like playing around with the LAVs at first definitely cost him that one. If the production cruiser had come out on this side and then just immediately struck at those main salvagers there, and then the production cruiser backs away a little bit earlier and continues making assault chips until it's in the clear, I think probably this would have been game for NoFun, but... And it's also worth noting, I think, that this is not a strategy that we typically would think would work in this mod because, you know, because of those things I mentioned earlier, the carrier, personal defenses, point defenses, acronyms, man. They're quite a lot better in the mod, and also the assault chip has less health and all this kind of stuff. So it's really difficult to pull this sort of stuff off, but the response definitely wasn't there from Bob, so it could have worked out anyway. As I've been talking, by the way, things kind of changed. Another production cruiser was made. Only LAVs have come out from Bob, and there's another extraction out, but he still hasn't made a support cruiser, so I thought that was game over for sure, but actually I'm kind of not so certain anymore. I'll tell you what I think should have happened is that after the production cruiser went down, the LAV should have just stormed right into the base and seen how many salvagers they could kill off. But that hasn't happened. NoFun, by the way, going for some interceptors now. He's another production cruiser out, so he could be on 3 base pretty soon, potentially. And with only LAVs coming out on Bob's side, which seems to be a trend in his play so far, he's quite slow to tech up to these units here. I think that, I think NoFun is pretty safe to get onto 3 bases, to be honest. Not sure exactly what Air is going to do for NoFun, but I'll tell you one thing it's going to do. It's going to counter a gunship real heavy. This is a bit of an odd choice from Bob. I mean, you've only seen armored units out on the field so far, and that's not really what gunships do, and you know that it's pretty common to switch into air after that, so I'm really kind of questioning that move. Interceptors are launching against the base runner, though. And that's fair. They can probably... well, if the LAVs are in position, they can probably deny the takedown of the base runner. So probably boost ought to be used right here. Base runner does have quite a lot more powerful weapons now than it did before. Okay, yeah, and boost is used to take out one of the interceptors there. So maybe the interceptor should just dock here. This is kind of a forlorn push. I would actually just dock them, especially because they've taken so much damage already. It was a good idea, perhaps, but didn't quite work out for him. Okay, so here comes the gunship, actually, and these guys are docked, so maybe I stand corrected. Maybe he really should not have gone for the base runner there. But still, what is the gunship really going to do here, other than die? I think, yeah, definitely the air unit should be launched immediately. Yeah, there you go. Sees it, he's going to launch it. Salvagers are going to be getting hit here. You can launch another interceptor right now, by the way. You should probably do that. Don't let the salvagers die. No, launch the air. Yeah, okay, again, he didn't need to lose the 4 salvagers there, although he is still going to kill off the gunship, which is nice, but, yeah, those interceptors could have been launched earlier. Down goes the gunship. This guy probably ought to just dock. I don't really see what he can get done here. I guess that's a turret. No, that's an anti-air turret. Oh, he got killed by the LAVs. Oh, yeah, I definitely should have docked there. But yeah, the assault ships are kind of getting a nice pincer in here, although these guys should have gone around that side. I don't know, NoFun looking like he's having some trouble holding on here. To be fair, he was very far... What the heck? What? Oh, yeah, okay, so this is a kind of funny bug with DOK. Let's see what happens to the Sam Skimmer too. No, it didn't happen with the sand skimmer, but if you pop someone out onto impassable terrain, which I guess technically the edge of the map counts as impassable, they'll like spawn in the middle of the map. So he's got a bunch of salvagers just like chilling out in the middle. That's funny. A bit of bad positioning by these assault ships, by the way, is going to cost NoFun a couple of salvagers over here in the second, as I think 2 of them have gone down now. And this eco-harassment from Bob really doesn't look like it should be working, but it is, and so, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I say he keeps doing what he's doing, and he's going to have a pretty good time here. He definitely should have been further ahead than this. I feel like the game could already kind of be over. But he has let his opponent get onto 3 bases, so this kind of eco-harassment is necessary if he wants to stay in the game. And turret here not really being given enough attention by NoFun, although actually his assault ships have gotten behind the hill, so he's going to be okay there. In fact, he can maybe clear it out, but I don't know. You'd have to wait for a long time for these guys to heal, so maybe it's not the best move. Assault ships have finally cornered those LAVs, so they're going to go down, but it looks like Bob, well, he should be on 3 bases here. One of the support cruisers is still chilling out of the main, though. I don't know, it's kind of strange play I still feel from Bob. I'm not sure like why he hasn't just sort of crashed his opponent yet, you know what I mean? Like, he had such an opening when he killed that production cruiser. This is still fine for him though, but he does need to get onto that 3rd base. I'm still not sure why the carrier's chilling out over here. Either the support cruiser or the carrier clearly needs to move on onto that 3rd, and he needs to tech up to something, and he's still just using like mass AAV and LAV. I'm not sure exactly what the idea behind it is. Then again, I suppose the same can kind of be said about NoFun. If I were him, I'd be moving into railguns now, but you might be able to move into siege and pull that off too. LAV's going to go for a bit of a backstab here, but they will be shut down without too much difficulty. Assault ships, meanwhile, forced to pull back. And Bob has held on to his base there. He does now finally have the support cruiser in position, so that base is fully saturated. And yeah, it looks like we're now on a 3 base versus 3 base type of scenario. Again though, still no other tech choices, and I feel like both players could be benefiting from that quite a lot. Okay, so NoFun finally going to go into railgun fabrication. That is, of course, probably the best answer to these AAVs. Like I was saying, he could maybe go for siege as well, but it's a little tricky. Railguns take positioning, but siege takes a lot more precise positioning. So I think this is probably quite wise from him. And Bob making some strike fighters of his own now. I think he wants to like uproot the assault ships, which are chilling out over here. He obviously had that tech from a while ago, so that's fair. But yeah, it looks like it's kind of interesting. Like Bob is using the LAVs as his anti-air, and it seems to really be working for him. LAV anti-air is not as good as it used to be, mind you, in vanilla, but I mean, as you can see, like it's really kind of working out for him. So, in kind of a curious way, he doesn't need to get the missile battery fabrication, which is going quite nice for him. And really good, you know, constant pressure just all over the map, which is something I really like to see, obviously. But again, I still wonder, like, where's his tech choice? Assault cruisers could be really good here, obviously, because they offer a mobile anti-air platform. They counter those assault ships quite nicely. Or, yeah, there you go, railguns, which is, I think, the obvious choice. But yeah, it's good to see that he's finally getting it now. These salvagers here, yeah, I should probably be getting back to work. Anyway, railgun fabrication is finished for NoFun, and I think you should start producing them immediately. Assault railguns just counter everything really that's on the board here from his opponent. Sandskimmers also obviously need to respond to this attack. Not really to this one, I would say to this attack here. You know, to each his own, I suppose. The air units are going to clean this up though. But yeah, there's a lot of trouble going on this 3rd base over here. And the fight is constantly happening over on NoFun's side of the board too, which is obviously meaning that, you know, salvagers are going down occasionally for him. Nothing like that happening on Bob's side. He's going to be building up quite a bank here. Once railgun fabrication finishes, which it just has, I think he can quite successfully spammed them. I think he's definitely gonna have the money for it. Really good, just constant pressure here by Bob, by the way. And the way that these LAVs are able to just dump damage on the sand skimmers while they attack an assault ship there is kind of disgusting to see. And the air units launch, and for some reason the hill there stops the LAVs from shooting at them. But you know, we've known about that for a while. It's tricky because the LAV technically only has one weapon, so it can't, you know, like do both of those types of things. You know, I think honestly Bob can launch his Air Force against this. Because yeah, obviously interceptors are better at anti-air than strike fighters are, but like, he's got enough of them. Oh, they've actually taken damage. Does Bob yeah, he has 4 cruiser anti-air. Okay, never mind. He's completely fine then. I was gonna say he's... Whoa. Excuse me. I was gonna say he's technically a little bit like uncovered as far as air goes, but he does have support cruiser anti-air, so he's gonna be totally fine there. Really big air force here from Bob. You know, again, he's gotten railguns, but he hasn't actually started the rail spam. And he's able to do this constant, you know, eco harassment here, but if he wants to finish out the game, he needs railguns, I think. And we've also seen no railguns from NoFun here either, which I think assault railguns, perhaps they still have that stigmatism surrounding them that I think they had for a long... Stigmatism? That's the thing in your eye, isn't it? Stigma, yeah, right? Like a preconception. I don't know, that they've had for a long time, like ever since launch, I think, which is that they're good in the early game, but you shouldn't be making them in the late game. Well, I think they're fine. Also, Air Force from Bob here going to engage, and he's obviously against interceptors, but he's got a couple of strike fighters. So I think this is going to go up. Oh, he's actually just going to go straight for the jugular. As well he should. I think he's definitely going to take it, but he'll take some losses. Actually, okay, maybe this isn't good. Now that I look at it, he's going to take a lot of losses here, isn't he? Ooh. This guy peeling off, but I'm not sure what the idea there was. Well, for a production cruiser, is that worth it? Maybe it is. Oh, this is good, though. This is really good. Bunch of LAVs coming in here. Just going to chunk up these soldiers. As the attack is going on the left side, so you can tell there's a lot of this, like, two-sided, like, two-pronged attacks coming in here from Bob. And it looks like things are just kind of falling apart here for NoFun. It's going to be battlecruiser fabrication, by the way, for Bob. Which is curious, because that's going to take so long to finish. I think like railguns are going to fulfill the same goal, but still, you get the idea. He's just going to shove these down his opponent's throat and just murder him with them, so that's always nice to see. And battlecruisers get so little screen time in these 1v1s that I think it's always kind of fun to watch them, you know, take part in the game. Sport cruiser is going to get smoked here, which is nice. It can actually still get hit while the sand skimmers are on this side of it, but just barely. I don't know. It's not really going to matter. This guy's safe. These AVs are still alive owing to the fact that they have armor 3 on them. The assault ship's having a really hard time finishing them off. And this production cruiser might go down. No, I don't think so, but hey, he got him pretty close. Strike fighters is going to chew up a couple of sand skimmers right there. Ah, base runner heal actually being effective that way. Base runner heal, by the way, is super effective, so... In the mod, anyway. It's like, it's always good in vanilla. Except back at launch when it used to cost money, you remember that? Oh, that was terrible. But yeah, it's actually quite a good ability in the mod. It does a lot more healing than it used to, and it doesn't heal your opponent as much, so... You can get away with some more cool things there, I think. Okay, this sport cruiser is low enough to go down, actually. That's fair. And Bob can't launch his Air Force against this cannon. Well, I mean, the LAVs are still in a pretty good position. But if he can pull the strike fighters out a little bit, and by the way, Afterburner probably should have been researched. But if he could pull the strike fighters out a little bit, he could have taken that fight. But in fact, yeah, like he can take it right now. But he's already docked his air units, so it's kind of too late for that. Looks like battle cruisers are on the way now. Missile battery fabrication finally coming out for Bob, and he hasn't really needed it yet. I don't think he really needs it now either. He can also set up anti-air turrets, by the way, with the Space Runner. So. Oh, and I should mention he's on 3 extractions too, which is pretty good. Looks like NoFun wants to even the score in that regard, but these strike fighters here, nah. I don't know. It's a little risky to go for this because the production cruiser is pretty good anti-air, and there's also airiness getting launched now from NoFun. And ooh, oh gosh, Ugh. A bit of blobbing going on there. That's gonna cost Bob quite a lot of air units there. That's always tricky because it's not very easy to. It's not easy at all to control the blobbing of your air units. They just kind of do it, you know what I mean? So it's like you can't really blame Bob for that, but. Anyhow, this is kind of a problem for NoFun as well, as all of these AVs start charging in here. And they are on full armor, and there's quite a few of them, so I imagine there's going to be a lot of damage done here to the sand skimmers. Or sorry, to the salvagers there. And you know, at that point I'd say he can just back away. It looks like he just wants to get damage dumped onto his opponent's carrier. I don't know. Yeah, he is going to back away now. But I think the battle cruiser and the support cruiser have gotten mixed up, but that's fine. Extraction's going to go down here, and that's going to bring the scoreline to 4-0. I would probably put down an anti-air turret here if I were him, just like right there. Just to, you know, try to box your opponent in a little bit more. But yeah, railguns just now finally being produced. And I think that's what NoFun has really needed this whole time. Yeah, and see, this is why I think I would have made the anti-air turret post here. I mean, I'm just going to go out and say it. I don't think either of the strategies that are being used here would really work against most players, but it's been an interesting game anyway. It's been a lot of fun to watch, so I don't know. LAV Armor 2 coming out here, so the LAVs are going to be maxed out on upgrades now. Sand skimmers are doing pretty well too, but just like last game, they have rating and they have the armor upgrades, but they don't have anything else. This sand skimmer here going to get some really good information for NoFun. Going to see like the position of the armored units, but obviously he can't fight this with what am I trying to say? He can't fight this with sand skimmers yet. Really, he just needs more railguns. Heavy railguns, I think, cover every hole that he's got except for the air one, but I mean, he does have missile ships out of the field already. Oh, and a barrage right here could be really nasty, too. A turret just got set up? Yeah, it's just an ordinary turret post. Ah, but the LAVs are in a good position here. They're going to chunk up these railguns quite nicely. And this time there's no armor on those things. They're going to go down real fast. The battlecruiser just now being revealed. With all those railguns down, NoFun does not have a lot of time to rebuild them before that battlecruiser is going to be up in his face. And that could definitely spell disaster for him. No extraction is going to go down here. That's certainly not an option. And Bob failing to pick up the artifact there, but if he had, that would be a lot of really good artifact pressure there. And then, you know, he just attacks over on this side, and if his opponent responds to the attack, then he loses to the artifact. If he responds to the artifact, then he loses to the attack, right? But it kind of falls apart if you don't actually have the artifact picked up. But you can see that the idea is definitely there. I think either way, this attack is probably going to be successful, but just needs to get a move on and it'll be fine. One thing that's a bit of an issue here, though, is that Bob doesn't have any anti-air coverage just here. Oh, I just saw missile battery getting finished, though, so he's got that covered. And with the missile battery coming out, he's also going to launch the strike fighters, and that's a really nice power move there. Oh, and the strike fighters can take out railguns too. I didn't really think about that. And GG. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have the artifact. You know. We all make mistakes. Oh no, don't tell me you're just gonna push this. Ooh. Yeah, the battlecruiser can just kind of run in there. Railguns are a little too close. And the AVs should probably just push in too, as well as the missile battery. The muscle battery? Because, you know, if you just get all your army together, I mean, your opponent's compacted into this tight little square, and that's exactly where you want him if you're fighting against railguns, because he doesn't really have the range advantage that railguns usually bring you. So I think if he just, you know, takes this whole army and just kind of clicks here, he ought to have it. Put him as Riker there in the air units is going to cost one of those interceptor pilots his life, and I think Might happen now to another. Looks like railguns are moving to take the high ground position here, but if they get close enough to attack the battlecruiser can attack them. That's not good. Oh my god, what the? How many salvagers is that? 13? How many bases would you need to have 13 salvagers running? I don't know. He doesn't need that much. Okay, actually, I thought that was going to land right on the top of all of them. It'd be even worse than that, but... It does take out 2 railguns, though, those missile battery shots. Battlecruiser is coming closer now, and that's definitely where he wants to be. If he just gets into this corner right here, he's going to trap the railguns quite nicely. Yeah, Assault Ship thinks he can fight that, but he really can't. AV's going to push up on that side, too. Not sure where Bob's other battlecruiser is, because he's definitely got the... Oh, excuse me, he's definitely got the money for it, but... I think he's just been making a lot of LAVs. Whoa, I've got really bad hiccups now. Excuse me. Oh my god, whoa! Alright, I guess NoFun wins. No, that carrier's gonna be fine. Just going on a little bit of a joyride. LAVs come streaming in here to catch the railguns again. Again, that missile ship barrage could have been nasty, but it was just a little bit off. But it is going to catch those railguns out, and that battlecruiser's in the back line, ready to take out an eco that's there, but he's not going to find anything just now. And this is definitely looking like endgame positioning here. Bob definitely has taken this one. You know, that battlecruiser is not doing nearly as much damage as I thought it would, but it's still quite significant. And this thing, obviously, on its own is going to kill off that carrier. I wonder if we can get high ground. No, it doesn't look like it. Oh, and there you go. The 5th extraction does finally go down. Looks like Bob realized what he had done and picked it up. Yeah, okay, the music was off for some reason. And that is going to be the game. So the score is 2-0 to Bob. And I think really in game 1, NoFun should have won that. Game 2, he had the option in the beginning, but didn't really use those assault ships properly. Other than that, though, I gotta say the play from Bob has been a little bit slow at times, like not getting the right, you know, kind of throwdown unit, if you will, to like take your opponent out in the end game. But it's been very solid. Like, he hasn't really made any control mistakes, I don't think. So it's really fun to watch. And this game, I think, was really cool to see like the constant pressure just on all the sides of the map. So, well played to Bob, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.